Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner HVAC. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about service calls, but first I wanted to remind everybody, if you don't already follow me on Instagram at Andy's Corner HVAC, please go there and do so. There's a lot more content on there, pretty regular pictures, videos, stuff I come across out there in the field, and just random stuff that happens to me or that I do. So sometimes there's some weird, odd, funny stuff on there because a lot of weird, funny stuff seems to happen to me. And also watching these videos, there's a lot of different stuff on there, a lot of different things for technicians, a lot of things for homeowners, for just about anybody out there. So be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell icon. That way you get notifications every time a new video comes out. So there's my sales pitch for Andy's Corner HVAC for today. Had to get that in there. But what we really wanted to talk about today was service calls. So let's say your furnace or your air conditioner broke down, and so you don't know what to do. The first thing you need to do is find the company that you're going to call. Either you can find who you've already contracted with, or maybe there's a name on the front of the furnace or the air conditioner or something like that. So many people out there, I've met a lot of people that they've never had to have a service call before, and they kind of stress out about it and they worry about it and all this kind of stuff. It's really not that big of a deal. Everybody always worries about, they're going to come out and they're going to tell me I have to have a new one, or they're going to come out and they're going to try to sell me everything under the sun, or these guys are going to be jerks or whatever. Well, if you ever get a service tech that is a jerk, fire that company. Go find somebody else. Service techs should never be jerks. Part of our job is to work with the public, so we should always be friendly, or we're supposed to be friendly, or at least we get paid to be friendly, I guess, put it that way. So, if you do have to find a contractor, ask a neighbor, ask a friend, ask a family member. If you don't already have a contractor that you use, maybe they've got somebody that they can recommend. Maybe they've used them in the past, maybe they've had good experiences, and they would more than gladly have them come to your house as well. So, there's a lot of different ways. Or otherwise, if you're in bigger areas, you can Google it and see who pops up first. Most of the time when you Google businesses like that, the company that pays the most with Google is usually the one that gets their name on top. So, that's not necessarily mean that they're like the top one. They're just willing to pay more for advertisement, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because good companies usually are able to advertise, and they are able to do a little bit more. So a lot of times those are good companies to go for. But that doesn't mean that the small companies are necessarily a bad company either. I've worked for both sides, both sizes of companies, a small one and a big one. And everybody gets taken care of in a different way, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or it's bad, the size of the company. The biggest thing is reputation. That's why it's always good to talk to people when you're trying to find a contractor. See who other people use, see if they like them, see if they would have them back again, that kind of thing. As far as price wise, everybody's always worried, well, I got to find the cheapest service call. And, most contractors in most areas usually are fairly close to the same or within reason. Some of the products that they sell, different brands, things like that, maybe the price will be a little bit different. But a lot of times, as far as like a service call, usually they're all pretty close to the same price, pretty close to the same labor rate. You may get, a few dollars difference here and there, that kind of thing. But everybody's usually pretty close. If you see that guy that says, well, you can get a $30 service call, me personally, I don't believe in that kind of advertisement, because it may be a $30 service call, and you may see $30 service call on the paperwork, but chances are they've charged a little bit extra for, your repairs or something else. So, they're still getting that same service call that everybody else is. So I am a little leery of those. Cheaper is not always better. And some of the sales gimmicks, stuff like that, like $30 service call will come out to your house and cost you $30. No contractor can really do much of anything for $30. Unfortunately in our industry, there's not much that's cheap anymore. And I'm not trying to scare anybody by any means, but you're probably, a normal through the business week, depending on what area you're in. If you're in one of the bigger cities, it's going to cost you more. If you're in a little bitty small town, it's going to cost you less. It works that way. But for the most part, I would say, on average, you're probably going to pay anywhere from, 80 to, $150 for a service call, something like that. Those may be maybe a little more on the high end. I know there are some of the bigger companies in the cities that are very, very busy, and they have lots and lots of technicians, and they can get out there very, very quick to lots of people, and they do charge a little bit more. So, it depends on what area you're in. You're in one of the big cities, it probably is going to be more expensive, but as you probably already know, most things in the big cities are usually a little higher. So that's just what it is. But you can get a pretty good idea with your area and talking to some people what the average service call is. But whenever you call somebody, to get a service call, or if you're calling, checking for prices or whatever you're doing, ask them up front, what does it cost for you to come out to my house? What all does that include? Do you just have a diagnostic where you come out, you introduce yourself, you find out what the problem is, and then we discuss the cost of the repair? Or does that cover any minor fixes or anything like that? What do you get out of that service call or diagnostic fee? Then also ask them, what kind of warranties they have on some of their work that they do, as far as workmanship guarantees or parts warranties for replacement parts. If you know what brand of equipment you have, you can ask them, do you work on Linux equipment? Do you work on Rheem equipment? Do you work on water furnace? Whatever it is. If you know your brand, ask them, do you work on these? Have you worked on a lot of them? There's nothing wrong with asking a contractor questions, in my opinion. I think the more educated you can be about your system, who's working for you, who you're paying, because that's the biggest thing. You're paying them. So, we are, trying to do our thing within, restraints that you put on us. So we need to know what you want from us, and I think you need to know what we want from you, that kind of thing. So it's a give and take. Find out as much information as you can about the company. Always look for a good company. Look for any different ratings out there. There's a lot of different rating systems. I don't believe in Angie's List or all those out there, me personally, because those are all paid for and bought advertisements. The people that it's not just Angie is going out there and saying, oh yeah, Joe Blow's a good company, I used him and he's great. No, they paid to be on Angie's List, and actually it's an astronomical fee even to be on there. But it's a paid advertisement spot. It's not actually ranking contractors or anything like that. So me personally, I stay away from that kind of thing. There's several different websites out there. I'm not into it. I would be more of asking friends and family members and all that kind of stuff to see who they use and who they would recommend. And also, if you're in a smaller town, usually you know who the contractors are. You've at least seen the trucks, the signs, some kind of advertisement somewhere, somehow, some way. So, find who they are. And, they should be able to tell you a time frame when they're coming. Most companies most bigger sized companies that handle things well usually can be out the same day. Not always. If you get that guy that says, well, Earl's on a big job, it's probably going to be about 3 weeks before I can get out to fix your air conditioner, but we'll give you a call in 2 or 3 weeks. I wouldn't use that one. That's just my personal opinion. Most contractors can usually get out pretty quick when it comes to heating and air. So usually they have enough, good company usually has enough technicians to be able to service their area in a relatively efficient manner. Now there are some companies that have priority customers where they've paid for their maintenance program or a service plan or something like that, where they get priority service. So if you don't have the plan and your neighbor does, they may come to your house first, so they're going to get service before you. That may be a good spot. You can sign up on a maintenance plan when they do come out there. So not everybody's always same day, but usually should be within a day or so, I would say. I personally won't do like the 2 or 3 week thing. But I do hear that even like in our area, there are some contractors that way. They'll be able to tell you when they're coming out. Most good companies will a lot of times tell you a little bit about themselves. They'll tell you what time they'll be there. Most of them usually, they should tell you what the technician's name is that's coming out there. That's just a good, friendly thing to do. And then, when the technician gets there, they should be clean in appearance. Now, granted, our fingers are a little grubby once in a while. We do work on heating and air equipment. Furnaces can be dirty. Air conditioners can be dirty, greasy, and all this kind of stuff. So if I got a little stain on my shirt, and I drink a lot of coffee, so you can probably see a little stain over here, take it easy on us, for the little things. But for the most part, the technician should look respectable. It should be in a uniform, I believe, boots, belt, hat if that company requires it, all that kind of stuff. I think that's how a technician should look. I think they should look professional and look like they're ready to work. So, the technician should act a certain way, and the technician should be friendly. Hi, my name is, introduce themselves, and, they'll usually come in, ask you a few questions about what's going on, how long has this been happening, what do I need to know to be able to look at the system, give me a little bit of help to figure out where I need to go first, that kind of thing. So don't be alarmed if they ask a lot of questions. Usually it is just a matter of figuring out where the first place to go look is. They may ask you about how old's the equipment, or how long have you lived in the house, how long have you had the equipment, all this stuff like that. Don't be alarmed if they ask you questions. Usually it's a matter of finding what we need to go look at, that kind of thing. So, and a lot of times after a technician's been doing it for a while, they can get a little bit of information, and a lot of times they've got a decent idea of what's going on. So the more time you can save them, in some cases, if you have a contractor that charges time and material, the less time it takes them, the less it's going to cost your wallet. So, help them out as much as you can. But then they should go do their work and, come back and let you know what's going on. This part has failed, we can replace it. I also recommend this, and whatever it is, hear out the recommendations and ask them questions. Why do I need that? What's the warranty on that? Is that a common part? And how much is it going to cost? That's always a big thing. In my opinion, technicians should always tell somebody how much it's going to be before they do the work. I don't believe in that. Like I've used car mechanics before, where they say, "Oh yeah, it'll be around $1,000," and you get your car all done, you go pick it up, and they're like, "Okay, so you owe me like $1,800." And it's like, but you said around 1,000. It's like, oh, that was just an idea. This is how long it actually took. Get your price up front. I think contractors these days should be doing that. A lot of them have gone to different forms of straightforward pricing, or flat rate pricing. A lot of companies are using different forms of that now. So, try to figure out what it's going to cost before they actually do the work. That way you don't end up with something major. In my opinion, that's just a normal thing. And then, once they tell you what it is and they give you their recommendations, it's up to you if you want to do it or not. If you want air conditioning, probably have to do it. But I would always ask all those questions first. Why do I need it? What does this do? And things like that. That's just the type of person I am. If you don't care what it is and whatever, just tell them to go do it. And then you can figure out how to pay them. I do like to ask a lot of questions, and I want a lot of information about it. Then they should be able to do the work in a fairly quick manner. Most contractors have the parts on their truck. Like where I work, we're like a warehouse on wheels. Usually we've got most parts. If we don't have it, we can make something work for now until we can get you the right thing, or a lot of times there's supply houses around where we can run after and get a part or something like that. There are things that have to be ordered. Some of the bigger parts, people don't keep those in stock. Compressors, heat exchangers, specialty motors, some of the control boards. There are a lot of universals and things out there now, but there are some things that we don't have on the truck, and that goes for any contractor, but a lot of times they can find it pretty quickly. So if they can't do it right now, find out when they can get it fixed. Don't let them walk away and say, "Oh, we'll call you when the part comes in." Well, is that going to be tomorrow? Is that going to be 2 weeks from now? Am I going to be without air conditioning for a month and a half? What's happening? Ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking a technician questions. One of the best parts about my job is I get to talk to so many people, and I can sit around and talk about heating and air all day, every day. That's why I do YouTube, because I like to talk about heating and air. So, don't be afraid to ask questions. Technicians should be friendly, and they should be wanting to talk to you. So, those are my big things. Let them do the work, and then expect to pay them when they're done. Not all companies are cash upon completion. But most of them are. And in my opinion, anymore these days, I think companies should be cash upon completion. I don't have any problem saying that. I know a lot of people like to get away from that because they don't want their technicians to have to deal with billing. But the way I see it, if they've been told on the phone, when they called the office that the technician is going to collect, they ask how they're going to be paying. Will you be paying for that by check, cash, or credit card today? How are you going to do that? And then you figured out as the technician, you have figured out what's wrong with the system. You give them a price, and so everybody knows what the price is up front. So it's not, "Oh, well, I didn't know it was going to be that much. I can't pay you right now." you already know how much it is, so you know if you can pay for it or not. So I am a believer in cash upon completion. I think it's easier for the companies because then it's not having to worry about a billing department and all that kind of stuff. So that's just me. Everybody's got their opinions on it, whatever. Majority, I would say, most contractors these days are usually cash upon completion. So don't be alarmed if somebody asks you for a check whenever you're done, or credit card or whatever. A lot of us, everybody's got swipers and everything else these days. So that's one part of it. And like I said, technicians should be friendly. So if you've got somebody that's a jerk, call the office and tell them. Somebody should not be a jerk. If they're having a bad day, I get it. I have bad days. But I get paid to be nice to people. I know that's a really weird thing to say, but in reality, when you work with the public, that's what it is. You get paid to be nice to people. So, do your job. That's how I see it. Be nice. So, that's usually what you see. One of the biggest fears or questions that I get, or people say that they're thinking about, when a technician comes out the house, they think that technicians are out to sell everything in the world. Most technicians in reality are not salesmen. We are in a sense, because we sell ourselves as far as making sure you understand that we know what we're doing, and then we have to sell you parts to fix your furnace or your system to get it running again. So in a lot of ways we are, but there are also selling techs, what they call selling technicians out there, that they do the sales and service both, where they can fix it, but if you need a new one, they can give you a price for a new one right there. That's cool too. Actually, years ago, I used to be a selling tech. I did the sales part and the service part. It just worked out. So there's nothing wrong with that. But technicians are usually, when they're trying to offer you things, usually it's things that are there to improve your system, or improve the air quality in your home, or to improve the function or efficiency or something like that of your system. It's not necessarily just to try to sell you something. Now, I don't think technicians should be going trying to sell everything under the sun to somebody. I think we should make our recommendations and allow the homeowner to decide what they want to do. So it's up to you if you want to purchase any of those extras, but that is out there. So don't be alarmed if the technician does ask if has anybody ever talked to you about the indoor air quality products that we offer or something like that. It's not just a sales pitch. It is trying to offer a solution to a problem kind of thing, because that's what we do. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, I said something wrong, anything like that, how you feel a service call should be in your house, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. I love talking to people on here. But I just talk to so many people that are stressed out when they have to call somebody, and they're like, oh my god, you could fix it for $200, you can fix it for $100. I figured I was going to have to buy a new one, and it was going to cost me $30,000. No, that's not reality most of the time. Usually we can fix anything, and we'll only fix what you want us to fix and replace what you want us to replace. That's what heating and air service techs are out there for. So don't stress out about it. We can make the process as easy as possible. That's not a problem. Just let us know what you want. So like I said, hit me up in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Be sure to subscribe. The more subscribers we see, the more we can get this out there. Refer it to a friend. Share it on social media, all that kind of stuff. Follow me on Instagram at andyscornerhvac. And anything else, just let me know. Otherwise, thank you and God bless.